Blake here with Blake's Builds. This is my 2003 Chevy Silverado that we are currently putting the Speed Engineering twin turbo kits on. Also, just a little side note, I am testing out a new mic. Maybe you'll be able to hear me better. That'd be pretty cool. But that's just, so if the audio is a little weird on this video, I'm going to go ahead and apologize because I don't know how it's going to go. But, so the last video we put on a bunch of heat shields, including a heat shield that went on the factory computer. I didn't really think about it, but I got a current performance integration harness so I can keep all my factory gauges and my AC and all that. Everything will still function like it's, stock pretty much, but the Terminator is running the engine. Well, I didn't really think about it, and then I started to looking. There's no way I can take these plugs off with the heat shield on. And I'm like, well, to get the heat shield off, I got to pull the turbo. So, as you can see, I'm not too dirty. I kind of cleaned up a little bit. I'm still pretty filthy. But I've done a little bit of work already today. So I had a passenger side motor mount blown out. I've already put that on. There's 1,000 videos on YouTube already about it. I didn't feel like filming it. I replaced my front springs. They were some no-name eBay 2-inch lowering springs, and they just were flat wore out. So I got a set of Beltec 1-inch drop lowering springs, and I put those on again. There's a lot of videos on YouTube already about that, so it is, it is what it is. If you want to learn how to do that, I guess you have to watch somebody else's and go subscribe to them too. But so this is the current performance integration harness. Just looking at it without, trying to install anything, it looks really good. I mean, I am pretty impressed. It is expensive. I got this and the electric fan harness. I want to think it was a little over $400. Don't quote me on that. But to have a plug and play option and be able to just integrate everything I want, almost everything, I'm tickled to death. So, I've already pulled the heat shield off. I've already got the computer pulled away because when you pulled the heat shield off, the computer came off with that. So really all it's left is to, this is the old harness, is to pull the old harness the rest of the way out, which means I need to pull up the fuse box because somewhere on here, yeah, there's the new fuse box plug. But anyways, let's do it. So, like I said, I already have the heat shield pulled off, which that includes the computer. But I left the other bracket on there. You need a 7mm to pull these plugs out. So there is actually my computer. Ugh. Oh, oh. These O-rings are not in the best of shape. But, oh well. Oh, I'm going to set this out of the way. Oh. So now we want to start on this battery box, or fuse box, I'm sorry. I've done a few modifications here. Looks like so there. This support here looks like they're like a 13mm bolt. I'm gonna have to pull that off. All right, that works. What have I done here? So I have a remote mount transcooler in the very back of the truck, and I ran power to it. It looks like that might be what's gonna hold me up on this one right here. I have to. Woo. Okay. Get that up out of the way. I don't really know how these things are in there. Ah, that makes sense. Ow. Maybe. I thought that made sense. Oh. I need to take this little bolt off over here. Yeah, just a little self-tapper. There we go. Now it's more out of the way, sort of. Okay. I'm gonna move you here. Okay, so there's two little tabs on either side of the front here, and you can actually just pick that up. And there's a little tab in the back. Oh, don't want to lose that. Okay. Well, we see the engine harness right here. There's that. And there's that. So let me show you this. So the harness is actually connected down here to this. I don't know if that plugs in the set, but I'm gonna have to pull it to get the harness the rest of the way out. Okay. There's a plug underneath too. Hmm. Hmm. Use my custom. I had a broken screwdriver, so I kind of ground it and bent it over. It's good for helping get plugs off that are want to be stuck on there. All right, so that one's off. Okay. I'm going to put the little safety catch back in it just in case, you know, I have to reuse this or something. You never know. All right, so. It's really hard to see. Actually, it would have been better if I would have disconnected that. I might. It'd probably be a lot easier. Where did I put it? All right. Yeah, so you can kind of see what I did here. I just ran over to a stud and then to a continuous duty relay, and then I just used the ground, and then the other red wire went to a fuse that was on with key, so it wouldn't trigger while the truck was off. I'm gonna be redoing all that though. It looks like it's that. Let me look at the harness. Yeah, so it looks like, of course, I can kind of see from where everything's coming in at, sort of. Looks like a lot of it's going into the middle black plug. So I assume it's going to still be the 7. Yep. Okay. I think that's everything on that. Yep. And a little pull. Maybe. Yeah, it's free. There it is. All right. Okay, so I can see a little more what's going on here. Looks like there's 2 more plugs under here. I'm gonna figure out what they're doing. Can't really tell. Ugh. Well, I guess that works too. When in doubt, just start pulling, right? All right. There's one more free. Okay. Aha! It's free. All right. Well, that kind of sucked, but it's out. So, looking at it, looks like there's one of the big plugs we just took off. That says 4-wheel drive only. We do not have that. And looks like we got to repin a plug maybe. And this isn't labeled, which I don't like that. Let me grab the directions. So after going over the instructions, I think, lucky me, I get to de-pin this plug and repin it. So I guess it's not 100% plug and play, is it? Which that kind of sucks. That's kind of what that's what I thought. But I guess I was wrong. I'm just gonna kind of get an idea where everything is right now. Oh, I've never tried to de-pin a plug before. Hmm. Hmm. So with the movie magic here, I've actually got it done. Um, is it right? I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure it's right. You know, pretty sure. What do I do with my? Drop my screwdriver. I'm gonna put these little plugs back in. Yeah, pretty sure it's right. So this is how I got it actually apart. Hard to see on there, but on the sides, right there and right there, there's little bitty. I guess you'd call them like little safety tab things. I just took my little pocket flathead and pushed them in, and then went from the back. And there's two white plugs here. I popped one out and shoved my little pocket screwdriver through the hole and was able to pop the blue plug out of the way. And I took pictures, make sure everything went back to where it's supposed to go, and it all looks good. Put this little gray divider back in. Just kind of make it look like it's factory. I mean, this wasn't too hard. Yes, was I under the impression that everything was just plug and play? Yeah. Is it still easier than cutting up a harness? Yeah. Making my own integrator. Oh, all right. There we go. Put a new plug on it. So I think we can plug this stuff back in. Pretty much just going to reverse what I done and run all this up under here somehow. What a mess. What a mess. There's only one way these can go in, so you ain't got to be too worried about it. But obviously, you don't want to force it. Oh, look at that. That's pretty satisfying. Anybody know where I laid my ratchet? My 1/4 inch driver. Be careful not to over torque this. You do not want to do that. It doesn't take much. Okay. So I'm going to hook up the plug that I repinned. Put in the stupid little thing, the safety thing. Now, Now it's just a game of it's going to set back down in there, which it did. Next step, I think, one of the main steps, I'd really like to route this thing halfway decent. It'll be a challenge, though. Going to be a challenge. I don't want to use the factory way of routing the wire because I don't like how it just hangs over the exhaust here. Oh. So, I'm going to say is next. We can hook up the green and blue connectors on the computer. I think there's only one way this can go on. I think. Don't quote me on that. Okay. So I am happy with that. Now back to the headache of I got to mount this. Oh, that was a pain in the butt. Let me move you where you can see. So I've actually got you in the engine bay now. Oh, maybe this will go a little smoother. You know, before we start, I think I'm gonna drill them holes out bigger. Okay. Oh, this was brutal. I'm seeing right now this down pipe is in the way, so let's pull it out. Phew! Rusty. Okay. This bracket moves it forward. All right, so that ain't the hard part, getting that in there. It's getting this stupid thing on there as well. So that cover actually fits a lot better without that factory harness in the way. Like, an insane amount better. That's pretty cool. Nice. All right. It's a little flimsy, but it'll be okay. Them welds look atrocious. I mean, they're absolutely terrible. Trying to think now what. Um, for the sake of routing the harness, I might just go ahead and slip this back on, just for simplicity's sake. Make sure nothing's going to be in the way. All right. My cover's actually broken. It's not supposed to have a big cutout right there. But, oh well. It'll be fine. So that's all in loom. I can zip tie these plugs together. Alright. That ground. Zip tie it right here. Okay. Go to here. Zip tie it here. Probably add another zip tie. Just make it a little cleaner in this bunch. A lot of plugs that terminate really close together. Like, they're not close, but the lengths are all about the same. So. Alright. And there's this bundle here. This is just going to make it easier, I think, to get it snaked to where I want it. Alright. So, I guess let's go. So I'm going to snake all this down into this wheel well. How are we looking? Oh, hung up. Okay. Yeah. That works. Can zip tie that up when I need to. Now I'm gonna feed it all up in between the steering shaft boot and the brake booster. Okay. I don't know what I'm hung on. Okay. Aha. Beautiful. Okay. There's a couple brackets down here that I can actually zip tie that line to, so I think that will be great. Right there. It's coming up. It's away from the header. And I'll probably bring it in over top. I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna bring it in over top the throttle cable coming through. So I think at this point, let me just stretch this out here. So I can probably snip that first zip tie. All right, make sure you get the zip tie out of there. So the goal is I'm gonna try to run everything I can under the intake. Like I don't see any reason why I shouldn't. I'm actually gonna pull this fuel line back. Had it pulled out of the way when I was doing the. Okay. There's that. I'm going to disconnect this ground for a little bit so I can get the wire behind it. Right. I'll put you back, I promise. I think I have to. All right. I'm going to come in behind the engine, and it looks like right there I got my oil pressure. So that works. See what I'm doing. That's my knock sensor. That's going to be going to the terminator. So there's my oil pressure. And that plug back there, you can't really see it, but there's the oil pressure sensor and the crank positioning sensor. We are not going to be using, this harness will not use the crank position sensor. There's that. We kind of shove it down. Let's move these stuff out of the way. Okay. So far, so good. Ooh. So I guess next step is to cut the next zip tie and see what it wants to hook up. All right. So it's actually cylinder head ground. I don't really, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember too much of where that was at to begin with. So obviously it's going to ground to a cylinder head. Which one did I ground it to? Okay, go ahead and remove that one. So there's my alternator. So that's going to come off and come up. Is that the only thing that kind of terminated with that one? So there's my park neutral also. Okay, so here's the transmission spur. Let me grab both of these. Maybe. All right, so there's my vehicle speed sensors. There's my park neutral. Yep. So that's the spur. It's going to head down. Can actually go ahead and run that. I think alternator is going to run up here. We got our transmission spur. That's going to be a fun one to get down, but it just kind of runs down there. Let me put a zip tie just on that. But it just kind of drops back behind that cylinder head. Well, it ain't going to want to go. Well, I'm going to have to fish that down later. Like I said, we got a cylinder head ground. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna pull this off for now. What the hell? Actually, I might go under that. Probably should have went under the. Yeah, I'll go under the fuel lines coming in. They're gonna get bent over there. I think I'm gonna do my fuel regulator right here. And methanol. Okay. Oil pressure's hooked up. These transmission lines are really causing me an issue. There they go, maybe. Yeah. There's that. So alternator. You go right there. Right there. We'll just run that down. Make that nice and clean. And we'll stick this to the side. So we got AC controls. What we got left to run? Coolant temp. Oh, so that actually is going to kind of run up here with the alternator, and it's going to squeeze behind the alternator, kind of up against the head there, and it's right here on this below this header actually. I need a coolant temp sensor, a coolant temp sensor for the Terminator and the factory computer. For some reason you can't split the signal because it would cause an issue. But yeah, that ain't no big deal. So that's kind of got me where I want to be there. This can continue to run on around. I had a modified bolt. Hope it ain't something I need. That'd be kind of funny. All right, let's do this again. Beautiful. All right. So we've got it ground to the cylinder head. That's kind of cool. All this will get tucked down. It'll probably get coiled up or something. We'll put a little twist in it and zip tie it right there. You know, something like that. Let's keep moving on this side. So I was thinking about running the Terminator maybe into where the glove box is. They've actually added all the light, check engine light, you know, trans, just says trans, I don't really know, trans temp, stuff like that. The breakout harness for the crank position, that's just gonna go straight down. That's pretty much right in this wheel well. I got all of these. These are going to get probably terminated. I don't really know what I'm going to use those for. Air conditioner high and AC clutch. So that's also going to run down there. Where's my harness? Okay. There was another. Oh, there's my low coolant. low coolant, and AC low pressure. So I think that's gonna plug right here for the AC, or for the coolant. Plug that back in, and there you go. There's that. All the rest of the stuff down in the bottom, it's not going to be a big deal. You know, I gotta, once I get the terminator in here, we gotta tie everything else back up. But that's pretty much all you gotta do to put the current performance integration harness in. Pretty straightforward. Would I recommend the current performance integration harness for the Terminator X? Yeah. So the amount of time it would take to, you know, go through the old harness. Of course, some people might want to do that. Time it would take to go through the old harness, pull what you don't need. You got to figure out what you don't need. There is a lot of write-ups, but you know, you got to depin a lot of stuff. Time you do all that, when you can, you know, and then you know your wiring routing might not be the best because you know the original harness came from the fuse box there and just went right up on top of the intake. Hated that. And you'll get a much cleaner look looking like this. The only thing that really surprised me about it was where it did say in the instructions 03 to 07 you may have to depin your factory connector or cut the wires and splice in, you know, your wires on the harness. I chose the depin. It was super easy with just the little pocket flathead. You know, you get these for free. This is a Banner, the photo electric specialists. They know how, you know, just giving away free. Other than that, it was pretty easy. I just took a picture. I don't know if it works. Let me throw that. Let me a little disclaimer there. I don't know if I repinned it correctly. I don't know. I think I did. According to the pictures, I put everything. All the wires correspond, or all the colors still correspond on the new harness to the old harness. So everything still meshes up. But yes, I would recommend it. I would probably spend the money again to get it, even though this project test kind of spiraled out of control on the money side of it. But it always happens. You know, you only live once, so might as well make it fun while we're here. But just want to thank y'all for watching. You know, if you're not subscribed, subscribe if you want. If you haven't liked the video, like the video. If you hate the video, dislike it. But go down in the comments and tell me what didn't you like. You know, was the audio absolutely terrible with the new mic? I actually take it off because it died. I've been out here a long time, messing with other stuff and playing around with the mic and everything. But yeah, you will need a different coolant temp or engine temp sensor than the factory truck. It says LS1 style. That's not a big deal. I need to add one anyways because you can't splice the reading. Yeah, but I'd like to thank y'all for coming. God bless.